So, chat. Like I said, we're using the 07 rosters, and we're using the 97 rosters. Might be a mix of play and sim, might just be all play in 97. And again, once more, there are a lot of interesting teams that could be used here in 1997. Of course, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim with Solani and Korea, which is unreal. The Bruins with the likes of Raymond Bourque. The Sabres, of course, have Hasek, LaFontaine. They're 2 years away from going to the Cup final. Calgary with a super young Jerome McGinley and led by Theo Fleury. Chicago with Chelios, Belfour, and Amani. Colorado with Waugh, Forsberg, and Sakic, which is just gross. And then again, much like with that other series, you have these fill-in teams that are made up of notable names at the time to help take place for someone like Columbus. So the Czech Republic Lions are in. The Dallas Stars with Modano, Zubov, and Nieuwendyk. Detroit with Fedorov, Yzerman, and Lidstrom. I mean, we're going to look through all of these teams. There are so many interesting ones. The Panthers with John Van Beesbrook. The Hartford Whalers are still there. My love for the Whalers are well known. There are so many interesting teams. The New York Rangers with Gretzky and Messier. And I can't help but think that similar to the 07 roster, my plan is to use the 97 rosters a couple of times this year. It's almost too good not to. There's just so many different possibilities. I mean, God, even the Leafs with Sundin and Gilmore. It's nuts. The Canucks with Bure, McGillney. It's unreal. But there is only one team that can have my heart at the start of this. And again, on the YouTube side of things, there will be no drama. You would have seen the thumbnail and the title at the start. But for the Twitch side of things, there can be only one, chat. And some of you guessed it right. The Boston Bruins and one Raymond Bourque. A big shout out to my buddy Tymo. Once more, that's at Baker and Tymo, Tymo, on both Twitch and the Twitter. It has to be done. It has to be done. I have to use the Bruins. I've been looking for an excuse to use the Bruins. And indeed, trying to win with Raymond Bourque is the right way to use the Bruins. So let's take a look at reestablishing the divisions here. Although, to be honest, I mean, they're not looking that bad. So in terms of unreal teams, you have the Czechs. Let's see if we can set this up as best we can. I'm going to just outright go to the 96-97 NHL season. And we'll set up these divisions as best we can, right? Because obviously, hey, there were 4 divisions then, there are 4 divisions now. So in the Atlantic at the time, you had the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia Flyers. Basically, you had the Metro was the Atlantic at the time. But you had New Jersey, you have Philly. Technically, the Florida Panthers get moved over, which is weird enough. The Rangers, the Lightning get moved over, as do, the Islanders are supposed to be there as well. So yeah, this is going to be weird. But the Northeast is Boston, Buffalo. We got to move Detroit over to the West, of course. But Boston, Buffalo, Montreal. We want to move Hartford over. Toronto, of course, at this time was in the goddamn Western Conference still, which is still one of the craziest things that people often learn like every day, that Toronto used to be in the West. Super weird. And give me 1 second here. Switch over that stream title. So in the Atlantic, or technically the Northeast, it will be Boston and Buffalo. We have Pittsburgh and Hartford. And then we have Ottawa and Montreal. So we do need these 2 fill-in teams, or at least 2 of the fill-in teams to be there. As the Atlantic will be New Jersey and the New York Islanders. We will have Tampa and Philadelphia, the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers, and the Washington Capitals are one of our fill-in teams as well. Over in the West, the Central Division will be your Dallas Stars and Toronto Maple Leafs. Detroit will be there with Chicago. And the Phoenix Coyotes will be with the St. Louis Blues. So I think we're good. And then, yeah, Russia's good where they are. And then on the flip side, actually, we do want to move Colorado over to the Pacific. Excuse me. So Anaheim, good where they are. Calgary, good where they are. Edmonton, good where they are. Germany might be the one to move because LA is fine. San Jose is fine. The Sweden Moose are there, and then the Canucks. So we have the one team to move over to the Central, and then we're good. So basically, I mean, geographically, it almost doesn't matter who the hell is in what. Who the hell is in what division? Honestly, I mean, it's kind of randomized now in terms of what team is in what division. So maybe that's the way we'll do it. That's the way we'll do it. So again, these divisions are going to be very interesting. Owner mode, of course, will be off. Set it up the same way that we always do. But we do want to go over to the rules. The rules. As again, this is going to be interesting. Trade difficulty will be there. The salary cap, I believe, will be on. Draft pick ownership will be back to classic. I think I left it to authentic for the Thrashers, which is weird. But it is what it is for one season. Computer trades are fine. GM mode length, all that's good. Authentic cap penalties we can turn off. The period length we can have 20 minutes. Injuries will be off. Rules-wise, we'll leave it on custom for now. Because I believe it will still let me change some other stuff. And here we go. This is what I forgot to do with the Thrashers, but it's not as big of a deal there. Morale meetings will be off. Trade notification will turn off. Head coach doesn't matter. Season tiebreak will be a single overtime. 5-on-5, if I am not mistaken. And that can lead to ties, which is hilarious. Season overtime loss, we can have that be 1 point. Continuous overtime there. Authentic for that. The low prospect generation. Turn off auto rotate. And I think with that, we are good. I don't think we're missing anything. Don't think we were missing anything. 0 points, it's supposed to be, but 1 works. Well, if I put it on 0 points, what happens? That's just what I'm afraid of, is breaking the game, even though it's an option, by putting it on 0 points. I'm just afraid that the machine will blow up because it won't be able to comprehend it. So, yeah, I mean, hey, we can put it on 0 points for a tie. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. All that's fine for now. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. And take a look around and get a lay of the land here. And see what's up. I'm super tempted to turn off the salary, too. That's for a loss. Well, shit. That's how we have it set up. So, just to finalize all of our particular rules here. Because, again, it doesn't let you edit everything in that one deal. It's like you gotta edit some stuff and then come back in and fix everything else up. But we're gonna turn off the trapezoid rule. Icing will be on. Offside can stay delayed. Again, there is no way to turn on the two-line pass anymore. If I'm not mistaken, you can't turn that back on. So, at the very least, we can change the trapezoid rule and freak ourselves out when goalies just go for it. And let's take a look then at what's happening around the league. Free agent-wise, again, it's just random fill-in players to keep the deal there. So, Lord Green. I appreciate that, dude. When was the shootout established? After the 05 lockout. So this Bruins team, Bill Ranford, Robbie Tallis, and Tim Chevelday. With some random fill-ins, if I'm not mistaken, out behind them. Actually, those guys might be real because they're created, but they're not very good. So Bill Ranford's our guy. And then on defense, the greatest defenseman in the history of hockey, Raymond Bourque. And god damn it, we're gonna win him a goddamn cup here. Don Sweeney's behind him. Kyle McLaren. I don't remember Barry Richter at all. Steve Stais and Matthias Tamander. Behind him, nobody. So those are my guys. Those are my guys on defense here. For the forwards, Can we trade him for Matt Barzal? Lacos, you're a horrible person. I've missed you, but you're a horrible person. And then, if I'm not mistaken, that's everybody that we have. It is. So let's set up our team. And of course, we'll take a look around the league and see how everyone else sets up officially. So again, in goal, Ranford and Tallis. On defense. Again, we have so many left defensemen, it's unreal. But Bork, best chemistry-wise, is to put him with the young Steve Stais. And then, honestly, we will go Sweeney McLaren, Tamander, and Richter. Neither Richter nor Tamander have a great shot. Sweeney's got a better shot than McLaren. I loved me some Kyle McLaren too, like us, so I get you on that. And honestly, Bork is, we might as well just set up completely for the 1Ts. And then for the forwards, oh my god. Oh god. Alright. Honestly, that might just be the best way to keep it. Ted Donato, Adam Oates, and Steve Hines. Brett Harkins, Joseph Stumple, Rick Tocchet. Troy Mallet. Rob DeMaio and Jeff Odgers. Jean-Yves Watt. Trent McCleary and Sheldon Kennedy. Fuck. Some of those guys don't even play center, you're right, but we don't have enough centers. Did you give them 99 face-offs and be terribly unrealistic? God, yeah, this, oof. Unless we play Rob DeMaio out of position, but then we lose that +5. I was really hoping to, yeah, that's our team. That is our team. As brutal as it is. Now, the dressing room might be glitched out, so to speak. Can I get a look at our beautiful captain? There we go. There we go. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yeah, pretty good to recreate the face. It's tough to get Ray Bork's exact face. He was a weird-looking man. Is a weird-looking man, and I love him with all my heart. Oh, goodness. So let's sim ahead. Again, if you want these rosters, Xbox Series S and X, I have the full run-through on the channel with Snipe's permission. Check out Snipe and Score Productions on the YouTube side of things. Let's take a look at what these teams are going to look like. Our season starts off against Dallas as one of my light dies. Yeah, you should definitely buy a Series S or an X at this point. Ask for it for Christmas. We will make it worth your while. Myself, Snipe and Score Tactics. We will make it worth your while. Well, let's take a look at what these lines look like. So the Buffalo Sabres is actually where it starts us off. Where the hell are the Ducks? Wow, okay, they're way down there. That's weird. So, Buffalo is Randy Burge, Pat LaFontaine, Donald Audette, Grosick, Plant, Daw, Matt Barnaby with Michael Pekka and Ward, Brad Mayday with Wayne Primo and Rob Ray. Beautiful. The defense is Gary Galley and Bob Bugner, Richard Schmilik and Alexei Zhitnik, Daryl Shannon, and Mike Wilson. In goal, Steve Shields, the backup, Dominic Hasek, the starter. My light is dying. Let's not. I have a new ring light for when this one finally dies. Scratches of Brian Holzinger primarily, and again, the random fill-ins that are necessary. So Holzinger is actually scratched. Calgary as Jermont Titoff, Robert Reichel, and Theo Fleury. Corey Stillman, Dave Gagne, Jerome McGinley, Jonas Hoagland, Corey Millen and Stern, Kraus, Sullivan, and Hlushko. But a 19-year-old Iggy. Damn. The defense is Steve Chason and Callie Hulse, Tommy Abilene and Huscroft, Todd Simpson, and Chris O'Sullivan. That defense is not very good. In goal, Trevor Kidd and Rick Tabarachi.
If it's an accident,
Joel Bouchard, the only notable scratch. Chicago is Craven, Jamnoff, and Tony Amani. Denise Savard with Kevin Miller and Eric Daze. Ethan Morrow, Jeff Shantz, and Big Jim Cummins. On defense, James Not Jack Black, Bob Probert, and Sergei Krivokravtsov. Oh, Bob Probert. Yeah, 96 sighting. Skill sounds accurate. On defense, Gary Suter, Chris Chelios, who was 35 at the time. Keith Carney, Eric Weinrich, Ciccone perhaps, and Cam Russell. In goal, Eddie Belfour, with Jeff Hackett behind him. No notable scratches. Colorado is Valerie Kaminsky with Peter Forsberg and Scott Young. Adam Deadmarsh, Joe Sakic, and Claude Lemieux. Corbet, Mike Ricci, and Mike Keane. Severin, Stefan Yell, and Eric Lacroix. On defense, Sanders Oceans and Adam Foote. Savon Lefebvre and John Clem. Curtis Lasician, yes, that's Jake's dad. And Uwe Krupp. In goal, Patrick Waugh and Craig Billington. Gusarov in general. I'm so excited for how short the goalies are going to be, though. The Czech Republic Lions, which again make up players who were there and young prospects. Rob Lang, one of the standouts. Milan Hajduk, who had yet to come over with the Avs. David Vaborny. Yaroslav Halinka. On defense, Yaro Spacek, Pavel Kabina, Thomas Kaberle, and Marek Sedlichky. Lubomir Sekaras and Radek Martinek. And in goal, Roman Czechmanik and Martin Prusek. Not bad. Dallas is Greg Adams, Mike Modano, and Jamie Langenbrunner. Guy Carbonneau, Joe Nieuwendyk, and Yuri Lettman. I think it's Brent Gilchrist. It is Benoit Hogue and Pat Verbeek. I think it's Dave Reed. It is Dave Reed, Todd Harvey, and Grant Marshall. On defense, Daryl Sador and Sergei Zubov, Darian Hatcher, Grant Ledyard, Richard Matvichuk, and I think it's Craig. It is Craig Ludwig. Cool beans. In goal, Andy Moog. And the Latvian legend Artur Zirbe. All 5'8" of them. Mike Lalore. It's the only notable scratch. Detroit. Vyacheslav Kozlov, Steve Yzerman. I know it's Yzerman. And Igor Larionov, Keith Primo, Sergei Fedorov, and Greg Johnson. Freaking Bob Airy with Chris Draper and Doug Brown. Kirk Maltby, Darren McCarty, and Matthew Dandino. On defense, Nick Lidstrom and Vladimir Konstantinov, Paul Coffey and Bob Rouse, Slava Fetisov, and Jamie Pusher. And in goal, Mike Vernon and Chris Osgood. It's ridiculous. Martin Lapointe, future Bruins legend, as a scratch. Edmonton has a very young Ryan Smith, Doug Waite, and Andrei Kovalenko. Miroslav Shatan, Jason Arnott, Mariusz Tchaikovsky. You got Murray, Todd Marchant, and Kelly Buckberger, Lindgren, Dean McAmmond, and Mike Greer. Defense is Kevin Lowe and Boris Mironov. You got Norton and Dan McGillis, Luke Richardson, and Brian Marchmont. In goal, Cujo and Bob Essenza. With Louis DeBrusk. Yes, that's Jake's dad, as a healthy scratch. The Finland Firebirds. The likes of Sasha Barkov Sr. Olli Jokinen's there, Nico Kapanen, Jarkko Ruutu, Filin Yeminen. Defense, you have Kimmo Timonen and Brian Rafalski, who had played in SM Liga. Sammy Salo, Carlos Strastinch, Tony Ludman. In goal, UC Markkinen and Frederick Narena. Florida has Johan Garpenloff, Martin Straka, and Ray Shepard. Rob Niedermeyer, Stu Barnes, Scott Mellenby, Lindsay, Tom Fitzgerald, Radek Dvorak, Lowry Skrudland, and Jody Hull. The defense, Joe Vokop and Robert Svela, Karkner and Murphy, Paul Laus and Rhett Warner. And in goal, John Van Beesbrook with Mark Fitzpatrick. Mike H, the notable scratch. For Germany, the standouts that I think most people would know, I mean, Marco Sturm and Jochen Hecht are probably the most notable names, at least from the North American perspective. Thomas Steen deserves a shout, too. On defense, Sean Anderson, Paul Stanton, Sorella and Hines, Anderson and Vivieros. In goal, Jim Herivniak, Mike Rosati. Fair enough. Tony Tonti's there, too. Fair play. Should have shouted him out. The Hartford Whalers with Brendan Shanahan, Andrew Castles, and Kevin Dineen. Jeff Sanderson, Jeff O'Neill, and Emerson, Robert Crone, Kent Mandeville, and Sammy Kapanen. Paul Ranheim with Andre Nikolishin and Stephen Rice. The defense, Wesley and Gerald Diddick. I think it's Godeniuk and Adam Burt. a very young Merrick Malik, and Glenn Featherstone, with Jason Mazzotti and Sean Burke as the goalies. Mark Janssens as the scratch. The LA Kings have Kevin Stevens, Ray Ferraro, and Dmitry Kustich. Siplakov, Eddie Olczyk, and Yannick Perreault. Yachman, Evian, LaPerriere, and Dan Bilesma. Johnson, and Nerminen, attorney at law. The defense, Nordstrom and Blake, O'Donnell, Boucher, Stephen Finn, and Doug Smolik. And in goal, Stefan Fisette and Byron Defoe, the English legend. We finally get to the Ducks, who have Correa, Ruchin, Solani, Jompf, Todd, and Yari Curry at 36. Hicks, Ted Drury, and Gary Volk, Baumgartner, Reichel, and Joe Sacco. The defense, Darren Van Imp and Freddie Olesen, Bobby Dallas and Dave Karpa, Ruslan Saleh and Jason Marshall. The goalies, Guy Hibert and Mikhail Shtankov. I've never known how to say his name. No notable scratches. Montreal's Rushinsky, Turgeon, Recchi, Savage, Koivu, Bure, Scott Thornton with Vinny Domfusin, Craig Conroy, Donald Brashear, Stefan Richer, and Darcy Tucker. That's a sick team, man. That's a sick team. It really is. The defense is Vladimir Malikov, Patrice Brisebois, Popovich and Quintal, Rive, and Dave Wilkie. In goal, Jose Tedor and Jocelyn Thibault. Turner Stevenson is a scratch. Then there's the North American Future Stars with JP Dumont, Danny Briere, Mark Parrish, Terry Laxton and Mark Savard, Aaron Asham, Peter Schaefer, Matt Cullen, and Sean Thornton, Jody Shelley, Eric Belanger, and Jan Bulish. The defense is Chris Phillips and Derek Morris, Zdeno Chara, and Brent Sopel, Bryce Salvador, and Corey Sarich. In goal, Robert Ish and Brent Johnson. No notable scratches. The New Jersey Devils have Dave Andrechuk, Brian Ralston, John McLean, Bill Guerin, Bobby Holik, and Steve Thomas. Zelapukin, Peterson, Sullivan, Pandolfo, Carpenter, and Randy McKay. The defense is Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermeyer, Ken Danico and Smith, Chambers, and Lyle Odeline. Damn. Any challenges? Probably just keep it straightforward. The challenge is the era that we're in, itself. Martin Brodeur, Mike Dunham as the goalies for the Devils. The New York Islanders with Derek King, Travis Green, and Ziggy Palffy. Anderson Armstrong and Marty McInnes. Wood LaPointe and a young Todd Bertuzzi. Hughes Plant and Ken Belanger. The defense is Brian Berard and Doug Huda, Brian McCabe, Kenny Janssen, Darius Kasparaitis, and Scott LaChance. In goal, Tommy Salo and Eric Fishoud, with Rich Pilon as a scratch. The Rangers again, who I will use at some point. Robitaille, Gretzky, Kovalev, Graves, Messier, Sundstrom, Berg, Nemchikov, Flatley, Langdon, Sherla, and Daniel Gano. Craziness. The defense is Brian Leach and Karpatsev, Driver, and Jeff Bukaboom. Can't see Jeff Bukaboom without thinking of Jesse from Bar Down. Ulf Samuelson and Doug Lidster. And in goal, Glenn Healy and Mike Richter. Damn. Let's see, the Ottawa Senators, Sean McKecker and Alexei Ashen, Daniel Alfredson, Tom Chorsky, Alex Daig, and Andreas Dackel, Randy Cunningworth, Van Allen, and Sergei Zholtak, Lambert, Radek Bonk, and Bruce Gardner. Snipe, make sure you add that mullet to Radek Bonk. On defense, Steve Duchesne and Jason York, Wade Redden and Lance Pitlick, Yanni Laukinen, and František Musel. In goal, Ron Tugnut and Damian Rhodes. Good to see Luke Adam there. Philadelphia Flyers have John LeClaire, Eric Lindros, and Mikhail Renberg. Of course, this was the year they went to the Cup final and got just pooped on by Detroit. Dale Hawerchuk, Rod Brindamore, and Trent Klatt. Podine, Joel Otto, and Dinah Zubris. LaCroix, Kordic, and Scott Daniels. Defenses for Svoboda and Eric Desjardins. Chris Tarrant and Yanni Nienema, Carl Dykhouse, and Kevin Holler. In goal, Ron Hextall and Garth Snow. Pat Falloon is a scratch. Interesting. Didn't make room for Pat Falloon. Phoenix Coyotes have Keith Tkachuk, Craig Janney, Mike Gartner, Shannon, Cliff Ronning, and Jeremy Roenick. I think that's it is Chris King. Bob Corkum and a very young Shane Doan, Mackenzie Eastwood, and Dallas Drake. The defense is Tverdovsky, Newmanen, Manson, Finley, McCrimmon, and Jim Johnson. And in goal, Nikolai Habibulin and Darcy Wakaluk. Mike Stapleton is a scratch. Pittsburgh has Peter Nedved, Mario Lemieux, and Jaromir Jagr on the same team. Sandstrom, Ron Francis, Glenn Murray, Zidzik? I'm not sure. Tyler Wright and Joe Mullen. Rosh Stoyanov and Jeff Christian. Defense is J.J. Daniel, Kevin Hatcher, Mooney and Mironov, Tamer, and LaRue. God, you have all that talent right there, and you waste it. The goalies, Tom Barrasso and Ken Reggett. Morgan Ellis' mustache is the backup. Then you have that Russian team. Alexei Morozov, a very young Pavel Datsyuk, Nikolai Borchevsky. You have Andrei Tarasenko, Maxim Afinogenov is there. So again, familiar names that would go on to become stars. They're just good names at the time. Danny Markov, Andrei Markov, and Andrei Zuzin. In goal, I mean, Trefilov's not bad, but obviously Evgeny Nabokov is the standout name there. Let's see, San Jose, Jeff Friesen, Darren Turcotte, Owen Nolan, Ulf Dahlem with Victor Kozlov, Tony Granado, Sutter, Bernie Nichols, and Sean Donovan, Ewan Gola, and Tim Hunter. Got Hawgood and Marty McSorley on defense, Doug Bodger and Marcus Ragnarsson, yeah. Todd Gill and Vlastimil Krupa. In goal, Kelly Rudy and Chris Terreri. No notable scratch. Well, Andrei Nazarov actually is a somewhat notable scratch. St. Louis with Campbell, Azizel, and Brett Hull. Matto, Petrovitsky, Murphy, Pellerin, York, and Noonan, Shane Corson, Craig McTavish, and Jeff Courtnall on the fourth line. Boy, it's almost like the AI does stupid shit no matter how your rosters are set up. Who would have thought? The defense is Pronger, McInnes, Kravchuk, Mark, Biceps, Bergevin, Murray Barron, and Trent Yanni. Goalies of Grant Fuhr and John Casey. Tony Twist, the enforcer, the legendary enforcer, as a scratch. Sweden, the likes of Huselius, Mikael Samuelsson, Espen Knudsen, PJ Axelson, Per Svatvedet, one of my favorite names, Sammy Paulson. On defense, Yuri Slager, Matthias Olin, Frantisek Caberlet, Henrik Tallinder. I mean, getting a lot of notable names here. And in goal, Johan Hedberg and Kay Whitmore. We get to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brian Bellows, John Cullen, Dino Cicerelli, Grattan, Yisabit, and Selivanov. PJ was on the Bees in 97. He was not. Burpool and Rob Zaminer. Zaminer wasn't on the Bruins in 97 either. Anderson, Langkow, and Weimer. He might have been on the Bruins technically. You'll have to ask Snipe, but in terms of actually being on the Bruins, I mean, I trust Snipe set it up that way for a reason. Hammerlick, Bannister, Ulanoff, Shaw, Bill Holder. I always want to call him Bill Boulder. And Rudy Poschik. In goal, Darren Popa and Corey Schwab. Corey Cross is a scratch. Darren Popa was a giant for goalies in this era. 6'4". Toronto would be a really fun team to use, man. It really would be. You got Doug Gilmour, Matt Sundin, Wendell Clark, Sergei Berezin, Kirk Muller, Freddie Modine, Ty Domi, Jamie Baker, and Craig, Nick Kiprios, Convery, and Todd Warner. The defense, Matthew Schneider, Larry Murphy, McCown, and Dmitry Yuskevich, Ellett, and Zettler. And in goal, Felix Potvin and Marcel Cousineau. No notable scratches. The Vancouver Canucks, Mo Gilney, Ridley, and some guy named Pavel Bure. Never heard of him. 95 speed. Jonah, Linden, Courtnall, Naslin, Sillinger, Tikkanen, Roberts, Walker, and Gino Ojic. Jesus, that team's gross. At least for the forwards. The defense actually isn't that bad. Lou Mann, Adrian Aucoin, Dave Babbage, and Chris Joseph, Brett Hedican, and Dana Merzen. In goal, Corey Hirsch and Kirk McLean. And as a healthy scratch, Yes, and Collimore. Last team, the Washington Capitals. Anson Carter, Jason Allison, and Peter Bondra. Steve Konowalchuk, Joe Juneau, and Keith Jones. I think it's Todd Craig. It is. Michael Pavanka, known for his Hut card with great faceoffs. And Dale Hunter, you got Miller, Mike Eagles, and Craig Berube. Phil Housley, Sylvain Cote, Sergei Gonchar, Ken Klee, Kalle Johansson, and Joe Riki. And in goal, Ole Kolzig and the net detective, Jim Carey. With no notable scratches. So that is the setup. That is the teams heading into this first dealio. And I'm excited to see how this plays out. How could you not be?